All right, ladies and gents, welcome to the second Divine Mother session. How many of you did join the first one a few weeks ago? I think there were some of you who didn't, but even if you didn't, it doesn't really matter. I spoke a little bit about tantric practice and then principles and how, when we talk about Divine Mother or Shakti in Hindu tantric traditions, what it means. And I will repeat some of those things in this session and then cover some more terrain depending on what I feel from you. So let's start with practice, a little bit practice. Take a comfortable upright posture. Posture where your body weight rests on the sitting bones at the lower part of your buttocks. So that it's easy and pleasant for you to sit. Don't try. Forget everything about meditation or even spirituality. Just don't bother, about being concentrated or about being distracted. This is not a test. You're just aligning your body in a good upright posture. If you feel like if your body draws deep breaths, let it do that. Some of you have studied with me for a number of years and you've heard the basic instructions many times, while some of you are new friends. So I will give the basic instructions according to how Tantra, Tantra has different ways that it can be practiced, different views that it can be looked at. And I usually give like two basic versions, two basic views, two basic instructions. So if we think about ourselves, if we think about awareness, consciousness, our mind, the most, the ultimate view is that all beings have the same nature, that is awake, the same life force, energy. All beings have it. When it comes to our own mind, we are distracted by thoughts, moved by emotions, in both positive and negative ways. But ultimately, all these mental occurrences, mental and emotional phenomena, are nothing but the awake mind, are nothing but perfection itself. All thoughts, all emotions, and then subtle energy like energy of drowsiness, sleepiness, that also. You could, now it's in Finland, here up in the north, it's mid-autumn. So the summer has passed. I think in Central Europe, where some of you might live, it's still kind of, it's not sure if it's summer or autumn. But up here it's already autumn in full speed. And all these things in our mind, thoughts, emotions, in all many forms, reactions, habit patterns, it's kind of like seasons. Summer turns to autumn, autumn to winter, winter to spring, spring to summer. And it's all just functioning. It's just a cycle, coming, staying, and going. And it's perfect as it is. This is the view from the mountaintop. The view that all beings have Buddha nature, and that we can see that all beings, including all the beings that, if we look at the functioning of our mind, functioning of our minds, we can also see that thoughts, emotions, all that stuff that causes troubles, immense problems to most people, it's actually fine as it is. This is a huge message of Dharma, huge message of liberation. Isn't it? But we have to hear and we have to understand this view so that we see how good, how nice it is and what the perfection means. And here we are practicing the Dharma together, and I'm pointing it out to you, explaining and pointing it out in your own being, in your mind. There is this incredible freshness in us. If you think of some beautiful place in nature, somewhere in the forest, a place where there's a river, mountains, lake, And then if we think of a summer or autumn morning, early morning in such a natural place, there is kaste, dew on the grass, that freshness. This freshness is also in us, in every one of us. This pristine purity. Pristine. Pristine means that it hasn't been touched and it hasn't been altered, hasn't been manipulated. No matter how bad we might feel, anxious, depressed, lost, this basic nature that is pure and fresh and clear can never be removed from us, can never be taken away. It is always in us. Many times I've heard, and I've experienced it myself, though for most of my life I personally have lived in cities. So, I haven't spent that much time in forests and nature. A little bit I have, but people have told me that up to a point they needed to go to a forest or some similar place in nature so that they could calm down. They needed it to find themselves again, to de-stress, to unstress. I've heard this many times. And of course, it's wonderful to be in a forest where there's a river, where there's mountains, lakes, sea. It is actually in that nature, if we go to a natural place to decompress, is that how you say it? Decompress, to recharge, to remove stress. This is actually already Divine Mother in the form of nature that is giving us energy, that is supporting us. But the same freshness, same vitality, same purity, the Divine Mother is also in ourselves. Shakti, spiritual power, is in us. And it is in everybody. There is a term that I translated into English that I often use, which is the nature of mind. I also use the term the natural state. State of mind, state of being, state of the heart, mind and body, that is natural. This is what we're talking about. When I was a kid, what we used to do with my friends was that we took this, it doesn't really matter what the name of that really common flower is, but we used to take these flowers when it was summertime and we would, you know, pick up the flower from the root of the stem, and then we would put that stem to our lips and then suck the sweet water, sweet juice from inside the stem. I'm sure you also have at some point, in the springtime. Another example is that in the springtime there's a lot of liquids flowing inside tree trunks, inside trees. And what is traditionally done in Finland is that you make a little hole to the trunk of a tree, and then there's this sweet nectar, sweet tree juice coming out. Maybe you have tasted like such a flower, like very sweet, subtle honey-like flavor of a flower, or that tree juice, something like it. When we recognize our basic state, our natural state, we start to feel exactly like that. It feels like our whole body has the scent of like a flowery scent, just pure flowery scent. It feels in our arms, hands, trunk of the body, in legs, even in toes, in face, in head. It feels like this pure nectar, and sweet smell is coming. It feels like pure nectar flowing in the body. So these sessions are focused on the basic state, the awakened nature of all beings, and especially the Divine Mother or Shakti. This sweetness, freshness, nectar is Shakti, is Divine Mother. You could say that Shakti is spiritual energy, energy of the spirit, energy of our spirit. Marked by sweetness, goodness, kindness, softness. And this sweetness can always, at any time, be accessed by you. That's big news, then that's good news. And that's where the practice is. Because our self-based habit patterns, they raise hell, cause problems, cause confusion, makes us confused. But nevertheless, we can also establish and re-establish the sweet, pure, natural state. And what is really important is that this is energy. We're talking about the dynamic energy of our own awakened mind. We can speak to it. We can pray to it. We can ask blessings from it. We can ask blessings in a way that it completely fills the nooks and corners of our being. We have hundreds of thousands of channels in our subtle body, subtle channels. And we have, is it billions or trillions of cells in the physical body? We can cover all of that, hundreds of thousands of channels and billions or trillions of cells. We can ask, we can pray, and we can request for the Shakti to fill our whole being. For the purposes of healing, awakening, or enlightenment. Perhaps for the purpose of healing traumas, psychic injuries. So we can communicate with Shakti, we can communicate with Divine Mother, we can communicate with this energy. So let's communicate. Maybe I should say that before saying any prayers that, I personally feel comfortable because of my many years of Shakti practice. I feel comfortable addressing my own divine nature as Divine Mother because, I've practiced in Shaiva and Shakta traditions and did a lot of practice. So to me it is natural to use that term, Divine Mother, but I understand it might not be that like that for you. So you might, some of you might want to use a different word. Maybe God, maybe Holy Spirit. Let's, for the sake of working with energy directly, let's kind of leave gurus or mahasiddhas, masters, out of this session. But you might want to address that, speak to your own enlightened mind, awakened mind. You might want to speak to your Buddha nature, Buddha within. Or you might want to use some other word, which is perfectly fine. But I will use Divine Mother in my prayers. So I'm addressing my own Buddha nature as Divine Mother. Dear Divine Mother, fill me and fill us with your blessings. For the sake of all sentient beings, for the sake of all your children, fill me up with blessings, with pure, vibrant, rainbow-colored energy. Dear Divine Mother, fill my channels, fill my chakras, fill my whole subtle body and fill my whole physical body, all the cells. And what happens when we pray sincerely from our heart, when it comes from a genuine place in us, is that the blessings come, and it feels like as if we were sitting under a waterfall. It's a strong current. And then you just stay with it and relax into it. You surrender into it. You're now in the hands of the Divine Mother. So you don't need to try. You are not tested either. And what is also very important is that when we feel very comfortable, it touches us in a deep way. Then our guard goes down. Our shields go down. The shields made up by psychic trauma. And then we just absorb the blessings, absorb the charge. When you put a sponge underwater, it keeps sucking the water in it until it can't do that anymore, until it's completely, how do you say, has used all of its capacity. Same with our bodies, minds, hearts, heads, muscles, bones. If any of you have sleeping problems, and if you feel like you're starting to become drowsy right now, please save prayers for the Divine Mother. If you want to use it for going to bed, it's perfectly fine. Please save that purpose for later. But now, remind yourself if you're feeling drowsy, remind yourself to stay awake. If you can fall asleep being perfectly able to hear what I say, then it's fine. But if drowsiness makes you unable to do that, then remind yourself to remain awake. If you notice that you have thoughts that distract you from feeling the current, feeling the blessings, then do this. Whatever that thought is, or thought like a train of thoughts, whatever it is, feel the charge, feel the energy of the Divine Mother in that thought or thoughts. Feel the thought as part of the current. The thought might be something about our daily life, something trivial usually. It might be a memory of something that happened today or recently. The thought might be a memory from farther back in our life. Doesn't matter what it is. Feel it as part of the current. right, we've been sitting here for about an hour. So let's continue. Stay with the energy, stay with the charge, but lie down for 15-20 minutes. I'll let you know when to get up.